goodness. Hey guys, how you guys doing today? I'm just good. I'm so sorry. I'm always like months or even year, like almost a year. I haven't been uploading videos. I've just been really caught with work and stuff, and I've also just been really busy with like life and stuff, and hang out with family and stuff. Try my best to hang out with like, do what life really. Um, and also, I'm just always super drained when I'm like after done with like weeks of work and stuff. Yeah, like the job is like no biggie, car pushing and stuff, but still, when like the sleep hours, it does kick you in the butt though, because I have really hard time sleeping and stuff. So hopefully this time I'll get some decent sleep, but we'll have to see. Anywho, um, and another thing, I've also just been working on creating characters and stuff and creating monsters for a horror western series that we're working on. It's similar to the Omita series where it has the dolls and stuff, but this time I want to use the 7-inch to 8-inch figures or 6-inch figures for stop motion wise. Hopefully, I really want to put the effort in and do some stop motion and stuff. Um, and I also want to create some very interesting stories. So if you guys want to give me some ideas for the horror western series, mind you, so I'll give you a good idea of a premise. The idea of the horror western, it's based on a remote area, and then the only look, and it's like either have a town or like based on this haunted, like big huge log cabin, like the biggest one you could think of. And I will build the set and then have move the walls and stuff, and then I can have good shots for the first different sets, mm. for the different sets and stuff that we're working on. Um, like for instance, how we make it a hallway, and each hallway will have a different. I can open the wall so I can have my camera do the stop motion as the character moving like on ceiling, on the floor, on left and right wall, or even the center, back, like really cool shots, like old boy type good shots, where it's just one continued frame of a shot, and it's like really good. And also be creating some really cool creatures and stuff based on like Native American folklore and based on like other folklores and based on like the universal monsters like Dracula, the werewolf, or the drained psychopath, Phantom of the Opera, like all the classics. Um, but I'm also very curious of what your guys' suggestions. Should this place, this remote area, should be taking place in the back rooms? Because in each level, there is even a remote area that's like a forest and everything. And there's even log cabins, back rooms, or should it be some random island that like it hasn't been discovered, and it will have other creatures too, like dinosaurs. It'll have freaking like crazy stuff in it, but it also like it will make sense because underneath the ground, underneath underground, is a hidden like society that's like similar to the Egyptians, but very ancient, based on like occultists worshiping these weird blood alien god creature. That's what created the vampirism, but also created the like different viruses of it too. And yes, there'll be also with demons as well, because it'll be focused around the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And yes, I am customizing all the figures and stuff, creating like the headless horseman, creating like witches, creating like the what the heck those things are called? Whatever. Yeah. And sorry. Yeah. I mean, I've been getting a lot of Western like characters, like cowboys and stuff. Whether clothing or just like regular figures that you get from Westworld or like Lone Ranger or whatever. Like posable figures and like look good for like the shots for the characters and stuff. Um, and then McFarlane figures are super helpful for customizing figures, so that was also very helpful too. Um, it's not cheap either. I paid a lot of money for the specific project, so I'm hoping when this episode is released, I'm hoping this be very one of my best work so far. I really hope so, and I'm also working on a like found footage, like horror style. I would continue with that because I've just been working on some latex masks and stuff. I don't want to show them because I feel like that would spoil the horror of it. Is the fear of the unknown and that big reveal of it. You're on the edge of your seat type situation. Like it's like showing off Alien. You know what I mean? The new Alien, the Alien design. You know what I mean? Like it'll ruin it for you. And I don't want to ruin it for you. So I really keep it. So, but um yeah, I'm just really putting all these stuff on certain projects or certain movies or whatever on hold because sometimes I'm focused on one thing, focused on how to create a narrative or like a different story of stuff because yeah, that's the thing I'm having a hard time with because I want to make sure my story is good. I want to make sure everything is good. Like it's good enough for me. I where I feel like it's entertaining enough where it doesn't feel like you're bored out of your skull while you're watching it. Because that's what I've noticed with analog horror. Like, don't get me wrong, analog horror is like really can be very effective of horror if it's done right. The problem is with analog horror is sometimes all they do is most of them is just having a black screen just showing off images while playing ominous music and has text over it. And sometimes they have voice acting, and sometimes they have like found footage style. Um, and like, it's like I get it, they got no budget, but come on, you could try. You could just create practical effects. Don't use CGI. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's so easy. Just create good effects, or even get some really good voice actors. You could literally get that from like freaking the whatchamacallit, the celebrity thing. Or the those apps. Just acts look at Mickey and like would bother a lot of people, a lot of writers, paying them and write a fan fiction, a Zootopia fan fiction. Um, so yeah, you could get some good voice actors there. Just pay them, and then yeah, it's good enough. Um, but for me, like since I do voices and I edit, make certain sounds where it sounds like different people, but in reality just me. So unless you're a voice actor, then then that's a different story. Like unless you're like me, Canyon, then that's a different story. Um, but yeah. Um, so I was actually thinking like it would be be so fun to talk about what my favorite like uh analog horror so far that I'm actually enjoying. Like more than like the others that are like so overhyped, like the Walton files. Eh, I don't know. I just wasn't really a big fan of it. Like it's cool and all, but I'm like, I just got bored. Like, dude, I literally end up like almost fell asleep a couple of times because it's just like, if this is the designs where I'm gonna be if this is the thing that's gonna be scaring me, I don't know. I just didn't dig it. Like, I just didn't. I don't know. It's the same thing with like Trevor Henderson's like art style. Is like he do drawing of creatures and you put him in a realistic background. And again, you have to do practical effects. Like you gotta create a sculpture and then Photoshop the image onto the thing and do the effects and stuff. Like that's what I've done. But yeah. But with Walton Files is like they got these really amateur like looking drawings, like what you do for like Amazon Paint, whatever. Like the ones you do, like you fuck around, you do with drawings and stuff when you're a little kid. That's what I don't know. That's just what it looks like to me, because I'd rather just have practical effects than just making cartoon characters. And I'm not saying cartoon characters aren't scary, but like if you'd show me like a poodle with bloody up mouth and the bloody up eyes that are supposed to look like all eyes like look like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I'm like, I'm not scared of that because I don't know. That's just me though, because I'm not like, especially like, it's gonna have loud noises. That's like, I'm not really intimidated by that. However, however, there's one actually a furry analog horror that I actually really enjoy is Bannatan's the Harmony and Horror and the Five Nights at Freddy Lost Tapes. Those ones, the animation is so fucking good. Yeah, the animation literally looked like a fucking bowling alley animation, but I don't care. I think that does. I think it adds to certain like the uncanny valley look or that creepiness, that sense of old, like a sense it's like it's been around since for the longest time. And it's still been causing terrorizing people and stuff. Like it's the type of footage they were not meant to see. They were meant not to find, but yet it's up there. It's out there now. Um, so I recommend checking those out. Support Bannington. He has some controversies and stuff. Like he didn't want to make, um, or at least he like he's not really as motivated at creating the analog stuff. So he wants to create some like comedy like videos and stuff. And it's like I get it, you know, he wants to be a funny guy. He wants to be the goofster and the gaffster. It just I completely understand. You know, you want to try different things. I get it, but at the same time, you gotta like stick the landing. You gotta like try, you know, work up just try your best. You know. While the other hand, Lord Bond apparently he fucking deleted his channel, which I was like, come on, Lord Bond, why? Like, or because he believed his good friend or partner, love partner, whatever. I don't know what was the thing, but he like was saying that that one YouTuber that wears the green hoodie and the sunglasses and he wears the mask and stuff. You know, the funny guy. He's been making some funny videos and stuff and makes some good pointers and stuff, saying that he was a pedophile and stuff. And they're saying like, oh, there's some Texas shit. In reality, he didn't do none of those things. It was just false information. And Lord Bond believed that these are false allegations because he knows this person, he trusts this person. But I mean, hey, I mean, he did apologize, but still, and it doesn't help either that Lord Bond hasn't been uploading any videos for 4 years at least. Or at least from the last episode of, or at least a trailer for the new episode of SCP Confinement, which, by the way, SCP Confinement, mwah, mwah, very good, very good. All references, there's so much references of each SCP that I had no idea they're even a thing. Like the corn guy, I had no idea that character was even a thing, but apparently it is. Um, and yeah, I've learned a lot of different SCPs from Lord Bond and stuff. Like I'm not an expert of SCPs and stuff. You know, I'm barely scratching the surface of any of them. But I have a better understanding. I always love SCP, the whole idea of it, and each creatures, each anomaly, each everything is there's so much variety. It isn't just horror. There's also like comedy, sad, like a really sad story of each anomaly or creature or whatever. There's so much like beauty and sadness and like there's so much there's more to it than just horror in the traditional sense. And I feel like it could be a really good opportunity. It'd be like if they're gonna make a series or a movie, whatever, they had to make it to like an anthology or like an anthology series or an anthology movie, because each one will focus or centers around the SCP of each SCPs. Whether it be horror, it's gonna be comedy, and then it's just gonna be like a sad and like a really heartwarming like SCP. You know what I mean? Because each one are very unique than the last. Like each one doesn't feel like they're rinsing and repeating the exact same shit. Where it's like it didn't felt like what analog horror is doing now, where it's like just rinsing and repeating the exact same horror shit. Where it's not trying to take risk. It's not trying to take new creative shit. Except one of my favorite ones, is so far that oh, it chilled me to the bone. Like, it actually really terrifying me. Like, it scared me so bad I was literally crying. Um, which is the Greylock series. I maybe will make it. I need to make a video on that. Like, I'm not talking about like this fashion of video. I'm talking about like a fully good editing video. I just need to get the time to fucking do that, because most of the time I'm just like relaxing and chilling, literally on my ass. So I need to get ready for that. I need to do some filming. I need to do some stuff so I can, you know, create the Greylock and stuff. Cause I watch a lot of theories. I've been watching a lot of theories and stuff to analyze to have a better understanding what is happening within Greylock. If you haven't watched it, I 100% recommend. Support this guy. This guy has been doing this shit for the longest time, longer than me. So he deserved that love and praise because he's been really putting effort into this shit. So yeah, I'm actually very excited. So, anyways, another one is Happy Meat Farms, or I forgot what the other I forgot the name for that channel, but that's basically what the company's name is. Where they're literally experimenting on humans and animals and stuff, and it had a really deeper story and lore. And it isn't just one channel. There's a numerous of channels. They're all connected in this one series. I forgot what all the channels are called. That you have to watch. There's a guy who made an analyzing video. I forgot what's it called. Yeah. So this guy has been making analyzing videos of it. Just look up We Happy Meat Farms analyze, or like theories or whatever. And in case and then also the guy who did all the really fun SpongeBob theories is the guy who's creating the web series, and he's connecting all the stuff with this dude and with the series and stuff. It's been really cool. Hey, sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom, but I want to show you off this monster for the horror western series. This is basically the mole people, one of the like a half mole and half human, basically monster, based on the old movie of the mole people. Yeah, so I was super excited to work on it. So, anyways, um, yeah, so like another thing about when it comes to like another good example of analog horror is Mandela Catalog. Mandela Catalog is actually pretty good. It does have some certain things I'm not a big fan of, like certain voice actors, certain acting, like certain effects that they use, or certain storytelling. That's like that's kind of okay, but doesn't hit the same mark as like the other videos. However, I did love the story. I actually really enjoy certain of the characters and stuff. I actually like of the alternates and stuff, like that one episode where it shows we finally get to see an animated like full body alternate, and man, that was fucking terrifying. Like, that thing was creepy. So I'm super stoked of what Alex Keister is gonna do more. What else he's gonna do. And then another good example, like for analog stuff wise, is games, which is of course Yames. Yames actually, technically speaking, the way he's making them is kind of similar to analog horror when you think about it. Good example, like two good examples is discover our bodies. Discover our bodies is basically based on, in the year 2040, humans seek out for answers and solutions for resolving their problems. What sort of solution is to discover a fungi? So they decided to implant this fungi into their bodies, and it changes their bodies and creates this hive mind and stuff. It's really freaky. And mind you, everything that what's happening during the experiment are all pre-recorded. So everything that's happened, the guy already knows. The main character already knows. So so everything is like just him treating like this is normal, like it's a normal day to day. Another one is from Yames is Waterwomb World. Waterwomb World is basically like that one horror movie, The Leviathan, except like analog horror style, in a video game format, where you basically play as a religious fanatic that's trying to prove that God does actually exist underwater, in Gasper Zone, and you're trying to gather evidence and gather experiments to see, to determine have solid evidence of this is true. Until you discover some creatures, and assuming these things are angels, or assuming these are just forms of God. But in reality, these creatures are far beyond that. And especially the end is so good. How the sound and the visuals is just so creepy and so really good. Like, I absolutely love Yames' games. Like, it's a whole different experience. Like, it's just the feeling. And that's what real horror is. Like, that's what Yames succeeded at, is the feeling. The feeling of unease, the feeling of like, what the fuck is going on? Leaving this huge, like, ominous world building, and like, I love it. I really love it. It's a whole different experience. Like, I don't really mind they're really short. It's a whole different experience. Like, I'm still waiting for Yames to make a sequel, Discover Our Body, which is create more deeper of the anatomy of the person during their transformation, its cells, the muscle tissue, everything, like all details. As you have a condescending AI, like giving you tips and giving you information about certain things. He's been developing this game for at least 2 years, so that means it's gonna be pretty long, or it's short enough where it's really fucking good. So I'm really super excited for the sequel of that game. He made other games too, like The Well and Crane My Grandpa, which those are also very good. Which, yeah, I 100% recommend. Another horror game that I also recommend is Fate. Fate is based on it's basically like The Exorcist if you mix The Void as an analog horror game, and it's all 2-bit like animation look, and there's a deeper story and there's a deeper meaning on everything, on the whole explanation, the main character, the demons, everything. Wendigo made a whole 2-hour video. There's even another YouTuber that made a 3-hour video of just explaining the full detail and lore behind the game. And my lord, it's pretty good. Like, it's freaking bonkers how there's so much detail of just this, like looking around, like trying out new things, experimenting around. Like, I'm not saying the game mechanics is like, so there's so much detail and stuff. No, all you do is literally just how you defeat the demons is literally pull across and just like at the demons or cultists, whatever. You rarely get anything except like a camera or a gun. That's it. Like, that's pretty much all you get in terms of gameplay. So there's 3 games: Fate 1, 2, and 3. The third one is like I think it's the longest, actually. But all the games have different endings. All of them have different endings to different scenarios and stuff, and it's really good. And then yeah, so recommend playing that, checking that out, or watch it, whichever you prefer. Um, and then, man, hmm. The one thing I actually want to check out is Winter A4, I think it's called. Where it's literally an April Fool's video where literally this guy just randomly just shit out like 13 videos of the Winter of A4 series, and it's just like this ominous snow situation and stuff. It's really freaky, but I haven't had the chance to watch it, so I'll check it out and tell you what I think about it. And it looks really good though. Not gonna lie. Um, and then Vita Carnitivus. I thought it's interesting, but like certain videos, I'm just like, I don't know. Like it isn't that like I don't know. Like it's interesting, but not that interesting as like Greylock or like because there's no like a character or like anyone that's been impacted of the situation, or not characters where I'm like that invested, or I don't know, like the story itself is just not that invested and stuff. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so excited. Like Greylock is like the series is my number one go to series that I would watch 100%. Yeah, so hopefully that's enough information. Hopefully that's enough info. So that's all you need to do when it comes to analog horror. If you want to create effective visuals, effective audio, effective storytelling that gives evidence and gives enough information, but also it helps you and lets you figure it out and have you investigate like a detective looking for clues type situation. And then also create a mystery behind the world building, create really effective monsters or an enemy or a villain, whatever, um, and then create a very effective atmosphere that's so important. And then create characters that like either get killed off, but you actually care for these characters, where they actually feel like there's weight and feel like they don't feel like people like dummies, or like basically dummies are ready to be blown up and stuff. No, like there's characters where you feel like it's been impacted. It's been like, like show the character's reaction to it, whether it's just their voice or whether it's their face, like reaction to it. Like one of my favorite ones is Greylock when they show the episode of the hell that I forgot her name is, where she had her baby Lily just disappeared out of her womb, and like when the voice acting, like she was like hyperventilating and like crying and stuff, and she's like saying no no no, like oh my god, that was just so good. Like it was so creepy, sad, and just so impactful. Like you're just invested of the characters, you're invested of the world, you're invested of what's to come next of this analog series. And yes, it does have like certain like gory effects, but not to the point where it's like urban spooks like analog horror, where it's like very violent, like oof, like very shock, like it's basically just like two serial killers that's basically just brutally murdering people in an analog horror, and police officers are trying to investigate, trying to figure out who is this guy, who are these people and stuff, and these mysterious people who's leaving these paintings behind, based on the victims they brutally kill. Um, and most of this, and it's like it's interesting, and I think it's very effective of horror. Not as effective as the Greylock though, but still pretty good. Um, However, I do agree it is pretty tasteless because it's literally just like shock horror just for shock horror. Like the very horrific, brutal like effect gore and stuff. Like it doesn't really show it, but it gives you an idea. Like it tells you about the details, and it's like oof. And it's not like freaking Exorcist 3, where detective is they never show the bodies, but they described it. And it's not like it's very terrifying how the way he kills them. And my god, it is terrifying. And it isn't like brutal, it's just like terrifying, like the thought of it. But this one is just like just shock factor, just for the sake of shock factor, or just shock gore. And I hope it won't be like Dolly Flesh situation, where the creator all of a sudden he's like a freaking maniac. Hopefully that won't be the case because we don't want more of those people. And then worst of all, they get more support of that, so or basically contributing the problem. So hopefully that won't be the case. It would be very nice. Um, but yeah, but I did like his realistic approach to it. How like it's just some regular dude, these regular people doing all this evil shit, and it was just so awful and so horrible. And I'm so excited when they get captured, and also the killer is like really creepy and terrifying looking. Actually reminded me a lot of Black Christmas. It was like hella gory, like super gory. Uh, yeah. Uh, so I think that's all what I want to talk about. Um, Another thing when it comes to horror movies, however, I think the only horror movie that was actually very like really fucking good was Talk to Me, created by these two Australian guys, Raka Raka, the guys that did the Ron McDonald shit. um, yeah, love those guys. And I'm so happy their movie is being successful and stuff. Hopefully, we get more very good movies, very good horror movies and stuff. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm praying for. Um, yeah, none of the Conjuring movies are hold up now. Like the new Nun movie, shit. Like every horror movie I'm thinking of, even the new Exorcist movie, it's just another tasteless sequel that has nothing to do with like will have nothing to do with like the other characters, like the Exorcist 3 or the Exorcist 2 or even only barely of the first one. And I bet every penny the second demon will be another Pazuzu and not the Gemini killer, which that's the only one I'm thinking of who will be the second demon or the second person possessing that lady, the other lady. But we'll have to see. But anywho, that's all I got to say. So I really enjoy Talk to Me. Very good horror movie. It's very effective. It's very terrifying. Definitely worth the watch. I definitely had a good time and stuff. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. And let me know of comments below what my thoughts are. You think it sucks, or you think I could make some good pointers? Let me know. I really love people's comments. I really love people's support. And also, I really want to recommend me what other analog horror or whatever unknown horror movies that are actually really good, but no one knows what the fuck that is. Or recommend some ideas for my horror western series or my or web series I've been working on based on like demons and ghosts and shit. So yeah, we'll have to see. So anyways, love you guys. Bye bye.